Welcome back, everybody. I am working on this Lemons car again, and today I'm hoping to have the intake manifold off. So I want to get everything off the top of this thing. I'm going to take the power steering pump off, the alternator and the alternator bracket off, the electrical, the fuel system, the intake. Whenever I take these engines out or put them back in, I like to do them by systems. And so I'm going to take each one of those off today in this video. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is get this power steering pump and bracket off of here. Is that just part of the... Okay, this is a bracket, and then you got the power steering pump. So I don't want to disconnect the power steering pump because I don't want to have to bleed it and put new fluid in there and stuff. So I'm just going to disconnect the bracket and stuff and then lean it forward up out of the way. And then I'm going to move over here to the alternator bracket. So I'm going to work on getting this bracket and the power steering pump off of here. Before I take the alternator and bracket off, I need to disconnect the electrical. Now I'm going to go ahead and get these heater core lines disconnected from the engine. Hopefully I'll be able to just push those up out of the way before I break them loose. Go ahead and give them a little spritzer of PB Blaster. And I'm going to remove this side of the PCV while I'm over here. And I'm also going to start to remove the ignition system. So I'm going to disconnect these spark plug wires and mark them as I disconnect them so they can go back on pretty easy. Oh, these don't want to come off. Oh, I might have to give those a little spritzer. Give these guys a little shot of some PB Blaster. And I got a little secret weapon here. So these, I got a set of these. They're actually come in pretty handy. I use these to take injectors out and stuff like that. They got a nice little round end on them. So I'm gonna see if maybe I can use this to get these plug wires up out of here. Need a smaller one. All right, here's my little smaller one. Let's see if this will get him. All right, back on the other side now. I'm going to go ahead and spray the EGR tube just in case I decide to remove that thing completely. It's going to have to go back on there until the owner does a transfer of ownership. So this car needs to pass emissions. So I'm not going to delete the emissions off of it right now, even though this is going to be a dedicated race car. It's all going to stay on there. But I'm not sure if I'm going to remove this whole pipe or not. I might be able to just leave it attached to they're usually very hard to get off of the exhaust manifold. But if anything, I'll loosen it up here, which also can be a kind of a pain. I want to keep going on these spark plug wires and get the ignition system up out of the way. Now I'm going to take this vacuum line off of here. This is to the EGR and down to, looks like the fuel regulator, fuel pressure sensor. Now I'm going to get this bracket off of here, this ignition bracket off. All right, I got a couple of vacuum lines from the intake manifold. One going to the evap system here, and then one going to the brakes. I'm going to go ahead and remove those two vacuum lines. And I'm going to take the other half of the PCV pipe off. Now I'm going to work on getting this wiring harness out of here. Basically just disconnect everything and push it up out of the way. And on this side, I'm going to do the same thing, work towards getting all the electrical connections off, get the harness up out of the way. All right, last thing I need to do, it looks like, is to disconnect this EGR tube from the intake manifold, and then I'll be able to get the intake off. Before removing the intake manifold or injectors or anything like that, anytime you're going to crack this open, you don't want anything falling down in there. You don't want any rat poop or any nuts or bolts or anything like that. So I like to go through and blow it out with some air and make sure there's nothing going to fall in there once I pull this intake manifold. So I'm going to go all the way around here and just blow it all out. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and undo the, looks like there's 8 T30 Torx bit bolts holding this intake on here. It's got little holes for it, but this is too big. I'm gonna have to feed this thing through there and then kind of see if I can get this thing attached to it. But there's 4 on this side, 4 on that side, and then hopefully this thing will come right out. I'm gonna go ahead and put some rags down in here to keep stuff from falling in. Okay, so there it is. Got pretty much everything off of the top side of the engine. Now I can get my load leveler in there attached, get the cherry picker in there and lift it up out of there. I haven't disconnected the fuel line yet because I don't want it stinking up the garage. And there might be a couple of things in the back of the engine, like the ground strap and things like that, that may have to come up. But for the most part, up here is pretty much done. Next video, I'll get underneath there, undo the exhaust, disconnect the bell housing, the trans from the engine, and do the engine mounts and get this engine out of here. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to see the rest of this thing come out and get rebuilt and any other future videos. Thank you.